Hey guys, today I'll be reviewing the Intellect Explorer 3.0. This is actually one of the most classic mouses out there. Definitely, it came out back in 2003 and really took the Counter-Strike scene by storm. So basically, what's so special about this mouse? So this is an old mouse, and this is, I think, the mouse that really revolutionized gaming, or especially games such as like FPS. I think it's set back in those times, over like 50% of gamers, of Counter-Strike players use this mouse, and even to this day, even to this day, they had a remake of this mouse back in 2008 or 2007. Even to this day, there's still quite a lot of players who live and die by this model. This model is actually this mouse is actually quite weird. I'll tell you a bit about a story with this mouse. I have a lot of friends who use this mouse, and they really live and die by this mouse. So just some quick specs on this mouse. It uses an Intellect point, some kind of sensor that they built themselves. This mouse is relatively big. I'll just compare it to my Xai right here. So if I put it, it's relatively big. In terms of, oh my god, in terms of like width, it's also really wide. You can tell that it's a lot more like thicker than the Xai, I guess. This mouse is also ambidextrous, so for their right hand. So for right hand users, it is extremely comfortable. Alright, so let me continue on about the history of this mouse. So this mouse I have right here, it's the very first version, so it's called the X06 version. And then they're also, 2 years afterwards, they released a similar version, also with this same color scheme. They called it the X08 version. Afterwards, it stopped production for quite a few years, and a lot of people complained. And this mouse really rocketed in price because people found it, just loved this mouse, found it was so good. So people were paying up to $60 US for a mouse. So Microsoft, as they always did, they came out with a new modification of this mouse. They made this background a lot darker, like a lot nicer gray, like silverish, and they made these parts like a lot darker as well. So it's just a difference in color. So what are the okay. So what's so good about this mouse exactly? First of all, this is one of the bigger mouses on the market. So if you don't have big hands, I wouldn't suggest going for this mouse. And for why people like it so much is because even this one and even the new model, the features of it aren't that spectacular on paper though. Its DPI is only 400 compared to this little baby. This can go up to like what, 5001, 3001 or something. I can't even remember. So this and the Microsoft one, it doesn't have any DPI switching, so it's just set on 400. You might think, damn, 400, that's like really low. Yeah, most optical mouse out there have 800 DPI. So this is like a piece of shit, right? No, that is not true. So why people use like high DPI? Like at the moment with my Xai, I have a DPI switcher. On low DPI, I set it at 800. At high, I set it on 1600. And usually I use 1600 for just like gaming and just like surfing the web. Yeah. But so why would someone go back and use? I'll just like put this aside. Why would someone go back and use a 400 DPI mouse? Well, this is the main reason why. Because mostly in FPS games, you don't want such a high DPI, since you want like when you have lower DPI, it's much easier to control how much movement and how much precision you have. For example, if you just want to move like a half a screen, it may take you this much effort to move half a screen, and in that time, you can really control exactly where you have more control over where you want to shoot it, etc. So, for example, if you had like a 1600 DPI or 2000 DPI, to move the half screen or full screen only takes you about like this much movement, and in that much movement, there's much more error. So this is why FPS players, they love really big mouse pads. For example, this one, they can really like swoop it like that, and they have just a lot of control over like where they want to like shoot, etc. So this is also a very legendary design, as it's ambidextrous. It's one of the first well, Microsoft has always liked ambidextrous, even since their classic mouse designs. But this one is really the one that takes it to the top, I say. So this mouse is big, and when I grip it, you grip it on the sides over here. And there's also, for your fourth finger and your pinky, there's also a really nice place for you to rest your fingers, which is really, really nice. So the back is really, it's a really fat ass. It's really similar to the Habu, but really fat ass. It goes into the back of your, I see it goes into the back of your palm really nicely. This, I would say, is one of the best fitting mouses out of all the mouses, and your fingers just like kind of roll on top. So that's definitely extremely comfortable. And I said again, not for small hands, but for bigger hands, it's definitely very comfortable. So at first, when I picked up this mouse, like I liked it, but then the low DPI just really bugged me out when I was using it for Internet Explorer or just general like document use, etc. So I bought a new one. I sold it, but then I started craving for that feeling again. So I went out and got a secondhand one for like this mouse is extremely cheap. I bought them for a brand new one cost like $220, $230, and then I bought this is Hong Kong dollars, sorry. And then I bought a secondhand one for like $150. Then this one I saw it selling. This is the X06 version, so this is the first version. So I was like, oh, might as well just get it again. I bought this one for like $100. So this is extremely cheap. I guess he just didn't want to dispose it. But so I've been using this as my main mouse for the past 2-3 days, and although like the 400 DPI is kind of bugging me out, but I'm just getting used to it. Just use a bit more scroll, and because it's just really fucking comfortable. I mean, also if you want to do like Photoshop work or just like close graphic work with this mouse, it just that smaller, lower DPI really helps when you just want to like do some graphic work, and that's really what you want. You don't want high DPI when you're doing graphic work, right? So overall, what I think of this mouse, comfort-wise is great, price-wise is great, FPS games is fucking great. Maybe for RTS games, I might not suggest this mouse as much, but for FPS, damn, this shit is good. So again, I want to compare it to the Xai. Oh my god. Oh, I'm running quite long. So, yeah, so you can see the main difference. Xai is much more ambidextrous, and it's much more flat, and it's definitely the RTS go-to mouse, I would say. And this one, definitely the FPS go-to mouse. And this one, compared to Death Adder, is also pretty good, but in terms of comfort, I guess it's just personal preference. You guys can decide. And I would suggest not getting the Habu. Yeah, so this is my review of Internet Explorer 3.0.